welcome to a Tuesday night edition of the Glen Kuiper Show. It's our final show before the Thanksgiving holiday. So if I forget to say it before the show's over, certainly I hope everybody has a wonderful Thanksgiving. We're going to have a fun show tonight. We got a great guest. We're going to talk about baseball at all different levels with a very famous San Francisco Giant. And we'll get to our guest in just a little bit. But as always, we like your comments. We like your questions for the guest. That would be awesome. So throw them out there. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the chat button, and get involved. You know how I like to bring you guys in as part of the conversation, especially when we have a guest, and we do have a good one tonight. We'll get to that in just a moment. As always, the Glen Kuiper Show is brought to you by the Carrig Real Estate Team. Carrig Real Estate Team has been helping families buy and sell homes across the Bay Area with a legacy of client-first service since 1978. Contact Mike Carrig today for a free home sale or purchase consultation. Call 925-548-4132. And the website is carrigteam.com. We're also brought to you by the good folks at Tilden Properties. As an investor, one of the best places to put your money is California's multi-family real estate. By investing with Tilden Properties, you'll see quarterly dividends and equity buildup in the real estate market. Call Tilden Properties today at 925-209-8558 and look at their portfolio. Get involved as an investor. Go to tildenproperties.com. We are also brought to you by Valone Insurance. Are you tired of being overcharged on your property insurance? Valone Insurance has multiple options for your home and landlord properties. Save big money on your property insurance by calling Kyle or Ron at Valone Insurance, 925-433-8271. As always, we thank our sponsors very, very much. Now it's time to get to our guest, one of my favorite guys, one of my favorite former San Francisco Giants, JT Stone. JT, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on. Pleasure.
Man, one of my favorite things to do this past summer, go to a Giants game, and every once in a while, JT would be there. So now I'm sitting in a booth, an empty booth that's not being used, and I'm watching a game with JT Snow and FP Santangelo. So, you know, I may not be the smartest guy, but I was smart enough to just be quiet and listen to these two guys talk about the game from a former player's perspective. JT, so that we did it 3-4 times this past year, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was awesome. I was able to do some post-game stuff on the radio and just get up there in the booth, and there's nothing like watching a game with you, obviously, and you and I go way back, maybe to the what was it, Sports Channel back in the day?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Candlestick and
97. Yeah, absolutely. I was doing pregame stuff.
Yeah, FP's one of my favorite teammates all time. Just played with him 1 year, 99, but his path and what he's done in his career, broadcasting, playing, it's great. I texted him today and I told him I was going to be on the show, so hopefully he's watching. Some people are watching.
But if he's a real fan, he'll jump in the comment section. You know, I mean,
I hope so.
Let's get to your new job. I'm excited for you. I saw it a couple days ago. And so the new team in the Pioneer League, we'll talk about the Pioneer League team, but it's in Modesto, the Modesto Roadsters, and you are the Roadsters' new field manager. Tell us about how this came about and why you decided that, you know what, I'm diving into this. This is something I want to do.
Yeah, it's been something on the plate for a few months, and the owner reached out to me, a guy named Dave Heller, great guy, huge, passionate baseball guy. He owns 3 minor league teams. He owns the Billings Mustangs in the Pioneer League. He also owns the Quad City River Bandits. I believe they're A-ball for the Washington Nationals. He owns the Wilmington Blue Rocks. I think they're the Royals single A. Anyways, reached out. He knew I lived in the area. We talked and had some conversation back and forth, and we came to an agreement. Before I did that, though, I was doing some work with the Giants last year. I worked with Bryce Eldridge, and I went to spring training and reached out to Buster last year to congratulate him on the job, and he invited me. And last season, reached out to Randy Wynn and Kyle Haynes, who were in the minor leagues for the Giants, and got a chance to work with Bryce Eldridge in Sacramento. So I went back to them before all this happened and asked them if there was a path for me or if they wanted me to do more work. and it was kind of going to be the same thing. And I needed a change. And when Dave came to me and asked me if I wanted to manage, it's something I've always wanted to do. And the last time I managed was my son Shane's Little League team back in 2012. And hey, we won our district, and
hey, I mean,
made it to the regionals. So I'm excited. It's been a lot of work right now. And I mean, we can get into it. If people don't know about the Pioneer League, is an independent baseball league, no affiliation, and we have to sign guys. The baseball draft now is only 20 rounds. So when I came out of college, it was 50, and then it went down to 40, and now it's 20. So there's a lot of kids that aren't getting drafted that want to keep chasing the dream and keep playing. Our job is to find those kids, sign them, and we want them to get onto affiliated baseball, so they can the Giants can come to us and say, we saw this pitcher, we want to sign him. They pay a fee, and we turn them on to the Giants. I worked with the Oakland Ballers the last couple of years, and it was a blast, and we signed some kids. We had Elijah Pleasance as a pitcher who went to the Giants. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. The kids are great. They're passionate, they're humble, and they're not ready to give up the game yet. They want to play. And I tell people it's a good level of baseball. I compare it to like high single A baseball.
Sure.
It's good stuff.
So, okay, let's get back to the kids that are playing, because I think a lot of people aren't really sure, like, okay, independent league. I mean, that just simply means that these teams are not affiliated with a major league team, right? But the Pioneer League's been around for a long, long time, right? So let's say a kid's a pretty good player in college, doesn't get drafted. So all these Pioneer League teams, they have tryouts. Is that correct?
We do. We have 2 tryout camps.
To a tryout, or how does it work?
There's 2 tryout camps. There's one in Florida and there's one in Arizona. The kids pay to go there. We'll send a coach.
Okay.
And then there's a draft order. And this year we lost 2 teams in the Pioneer League, so we're down to 11. But there's going to be a travel team. And Dimitri Young, you probably remember Dimitri Young was a big league. He's going to manage the travel team. So there's 12. The Modesto team, we're probably going to have the 2nd or 3rd pick, because the other expansion team this year is in Long Beach, Southern California, Long Beach. We're going to go to Florida, and then there's one in Arizona. We sign a kid. Our roster's 25 players. You sign a kid out of the tryout camp, you get an extra 26th player, which is really cool. Okay. And that player has to stay on your roster the whole year. We also might put on a tryout camp in Modesto just for local kids that want to come. But I've got 2 good coaches working for me right now. There's 3 of us. So you can have 3 coaches on your squad. And there's a lot of rules in the Pioneer League. I think it's 3 years of professional baseball, and then you're out. Or it's if a kid signs out of high school, they get 4 years from their high school and then another 2 years. So, it's if anyone gets the opportunity, like, just look up the Pioneer League, and when it was affiliated ball, look at the guys that came through there. One of my good buddies, Rich Aurelia, he played in the Pioneer League when he was drafted out of St. John's with the Giants. I think he played up in Billings or Boise. So it's good baseball. Don't be fooled by it's like this rec ball. So it's good stuff.
And so how do you get the full roster, though? How do you get to 25 or 26 guys? Because you don't get them all at these tryout camps, obviously, do you? Or because you still there's a lot of roster spots.
Yep. And so my pitching coach is Alex Leach. He's the head coach at Modesto Junior College. He's a pitching guy. He's scouted with the Braves. He's been a scout. He's been at Modesto for 2 years. He sent, I think, 30-something kids onto 4-year schools, and 17 players have gone to D1 schools. The guy's doing a fabulous job. This guy is going to be a big league pitching coach someday. And my bench coach is Gary Templeton Jr. We all remember his dad, Gary Templeton. So Gary's been in the league, coached up in Idaho Falls last year for Troy Percival, who was with the Angels, my teammate, who beat us in the World Series. Troy's got the Long Beach job now. And he's bringing in Darren Erstad as one of his bench coaches. So we got some big league guys in this league, and we just have to find them and scout them. And a lot of it is our philosophy is gonna be to bring probably 40 guys, and we get like a week spring training, 10 days, and then we'll have to cut it down to 26. But we're signing guys. We just want to see them play.
Sure.
There's a lot of guys reaching out to us now. We're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, sending us some videos.
Okay.
And so, yeah, it's going to start with we're going to bring a lot of guys to camp and then just work them out, play a lot of inter squads. We're going to play some scrimmages against the Oakland Baller team and then figure it out and go from there.
Okay. So JT, let's say I'm a player on your team and I'm having a really good year. Okay. And some teams are starting to watch the Giants, maybe the A's or whoever is starting to see, hey, he's having a pretty good year. Do those teams contact you or contact your organization and say, hey, do they ask you about the kid, or do they say, hey, I want to sign, Glen Kuiper. He looks like a pretty good player.
They do. And so there'll be scouts in the stands. And I went through with the Ballers a couple of years ago. We signed, like I said earlier, four kids. The teams will reach out to you. There's a transfer fee. It's like $7,500. So we had this kid with the Ballers that I could tell after his first start, he was 95, a sinker. He was breaking bats. Guys couldn't hit his slider. White Sox called us, signed him. He was in AA by the end of the year.
Really?
And,
wow.
Yeah, the teams will reach out. And also the thing I love about our coaching staff is Gary scouted and Alex is scouted. I know guys around the league and we can reach out to them and go, hey, we got this guy, maybe take a look at him. Because we want to win as an organization, but we don't want to stall these kids. We want to get them on to affiliated ball. And the way baseball is now, and you've seen it, I mean, there's a lot of diamonds in the rough out there. And then after the draft in July, there'll be an influx of kids. We're going to tell these kids, we start middle of May, so May and June, and then you got a month and a half to show us what you can do, what you can play, and then we might have some turnover. And you can trade in between the league. The manager for the Oakland Ballers is Aaron Miles, was a big league infielder for a lot of years from Antioch. Yep. He may need a center fielder. Maybe a center fielder gets hurt, a pitcher gets hurt. We got a guy that's not playing, so we can trade him. And it's fun. We get to that's a fun part for me that I'm excited about is being a manager and kind of calling the shots and just helping these kids. These kids want to play, they want to learn, and they're they're good kids.
Yes. I mean, I've known the commissioner of the Pioneer League, Mike Shapiro, for almost 35 years, right? I mean, Mike was a Giants executive for a long, long time, and now he's been the commissioner of the Pioneer League. And Mike, and I talked to him quite a bit a couple of years ago about the league, and I was kind of interested in what was it all about. And I remember him saying, what we're really working hard on is expansion, and we want to get more expansion into California, because a lot of these teams are, Montana, Idaho, Utah. I mean, that's a long ways away.
Yeah.
So, his big goal was, let's get 2 teams in California. Then let's get 4 teams. And now you guys have 4 teams in California. And I would imagine that in the future, they're looking for more. They would love to have 6 teams in California, or maybe even more. But he was big on expansion for the Pioneer League. He thought that was very important.
Yeah, it was a huge when the Ballers came in, and then they had a team in Davis, the High Wheelers. They moved to Yuba City last year, and it's kind of interesting because Davis won the championship in their first year, and then the Oakland team won it last year in their second year. So the last 2 years, the California teams that have won, and the people up in Montana and Idaho weren't too happy with that. But yeah, there's 4 teams, and I know they're gonna expand. We don't know what cities, but I know they're going to try and expand next year, maybe 2 more and then 2 more. And they want to eventually get like a California independent league. And the thing with these kids is, to be close to home. We're looking at a lot of Bay Area kids. We're looking at a lot of California kids. And the pay scale is a little different. These players make minimum wage in California. Their contracts are about $3,000 a month. They can only work 40 hours a week. We play Tuesday through Sunday. Every Monday's off. So
Yeah.
we play 6 days a week, and we can only work out, 2 hours on the field for BP, and then the 2 to 3 hours of the game. So there's some rules, but the kids are great, and they're coming from all over. They gotta pay their own way. And in Modesto, we're doing a really cool thing. We're gonna have host families take these kids in for the summer, so they're not getting charged rent. They can put a little money in their pocket and play baseball.
That's great. Sounds like minor league baseball to me, right?
That's what it is. And the cool thing about Modesto, why I got hooked on it, was with no affiliation. They were, as you know, they were the A's for a long time. The Modesto A's. Guys that came through there, right? Ricky Henderson and Joe Rudy and Jason Giambi and Bobby Crosby. And then they went to the Rockies, and they were the Mariners. Cal Raleigh played in Modesto. They left. So with no affiliation now, we're really pressing. This is the fans, the people of Modesto and Stanislaus County. This is your team. They're going to get to know these kids. Our owner's doing a great job. We're going to make it affordable baseball, bring the family out, have a nice night at the ballpark. Tickets are going to be cheap. Grab a hot dog and a beer and a Coke for the kids and some popcorn and enjoy some baseball. And my goal is hopefully they come to a game, and if they want to come back, to another one.
And you know what? You saw it firsthand, and I read a lot about it. I thought it was pretty cool. What happened in Oakland with the Ballers looks like they have, after, I know the first year it was a little rocky. There were some things going on, but it looks like they fixed some of their issues and they draw a pretty nice crowd. And last year they won. Also, I'm not saying every city's the same and they have the exact blueprint, but this can work if done properly in a city. And Modesto, where you're going to be, I mean, as you had mentioned, it has had minor league baseball for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
I mean, this goes back to the 20s and 30s, they had baseball there. So, I think when that happens, when you have a history of minor league baseball in a town, I think you have a shot for it to work, right?
Yes. And I started doing research, and I never really, dug deep into Modesto, but it's a big city, right? It's over 200,000 people. The baseball goes all the way back to the early 1900s. They were the Modesto Red Caps, and then they were the Reds, and then they played in the old the California League. They were in the California League since the 1940s, and there's a lot of proud people in the Valley that love baseball. The other cool thing, and why I wanted to do this, the facilities there, the stadium's great. It's called John Thurman Field. I think we're in the process. I think someone's going to put a naming rights on the field, but I talked to some people, and they're like, you're going to have the third or fourth best stadium in the Pioneer League when you move in there. The city is putting a bunch of money into the team with the owner. I'm not exactly sure how, but it's like high six figures money. They're paying the ballpark. I was there yesterday for the unveiling of the logo and the uniforms, and I got to choose the colors for the clubhouse, and I got to go through with the owner and the head guy painting, and so I'm getting a lot of responsibility, which it kind of feels good for people to appreciate you and let you do your thing. My wife and I designed our uniforms and our hats.
That's great.
Anyone that hasn't seen, go check out the Roadsters. We're doing like a vintage diner look back to the 60s and 70s. The movie American Graffiti was filmed in Modesto. George Lucas.
Yep.
That was that's what launched him on to make Star Wars, because he made the money. That's why it's the big car culture there. And we're doing like our colors are light blue and cherry, candy apple red and white, kind of like a vintage diner.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun. We're building this from scratch, which I love. They're giving me a lot of decisions and a lot of input, and so it's good.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing too, and you found it out with the Ballers. And I know when I talked to Mike Shapiro, the commissioner, about a lot of different stuff, it's a lot of work. Everything's not smooth. And I know, in Davis that first year, they had a good team, but there was issues with the lights, right? They didn't have lights some, and so there always seemed to be something going on, something that needed to be fixed, but yet the league powers on. and people are totally into it.
Yeah, and it's hard building something from scratch, and a lot of times people like like been talking to our guys from finding a trainer. We got to find
Yep.
the kids love to work out in the morning. They want a gym to go work out. We're going to get a deal there.
Sure.
Finding a clubhouse guy, and I go back, and I was telling somebody yesterday when I was at the vault, we hired a clubhouse guy, and I was like, okay, when I played for the Giants and Mike Murphy, when we won, he always hung the jerseys with the Giants facing out, and when we lost, it was always your number. So it's kind of like
great. I never knew that.
Oh, you didn't know? Yeah,
no, I never did.
And it took me a while to figure that out. And Murph told me one time, he's like, when we win as a team. So when you come to the clubhouse the next day, hanging in your locker, all the uniforms are faced the same way, and they all say Giants. And when we lose, I turn it around, and it's just your number because you guys all played like individuals, and we didn't win. So little things like that, like I'm gonna bring to the team. It's fun. I've talked to a lot of guys. We can get into it. I talked to Brian Sabian the other day for an hour on the phone. I talked to Terry Francona, who's an Arizona guy who I played for in Boston last year, and talked to him about managing. So I got a lot of information, been drawing off a lot of the managers that I played for in my career. Of course, Dusty and Felipe. Buck Showalter was my first manager with the Yankees, and I played for Buck Rogers in Anaheim and Marcel Lachman. And I'm awake at night now, thinking about all the stuff and how to manage. And you're gonna have
gray hair. If I'm going to see you in like August, and you're going to have gray hair.
It's still good for now, but and you know what? Every one of those guys said, you're going to do great. You're on. But once the game starts and the line of cards are exchanged, they're like, that's the best time of the game. That 2.5, 3 hours managing the game, like you're going to have a blast. So I can't wait. Yeah,
you will. And you know what? You'll do a great job. And very interesting stuff. And I agree. Like you said, if you're watching this, look, just Google the Pioneer League. It's very interesting, where the teams are and how long they've been there and the changes that have been made. But it's a pretty cool thing. It's a pretty cool thing. And what happened in Oakland is great. And I hope the same thing happens, for you in Modesto, because like you said, it's not a small town, Modesto. And, you're far enough away from the Bay Area where, people could be into it, and then you're going to have a great thing going.
Hopefully, maybe when the Giants are on the road during the season,
absolutely,
they might travel out to Modesto. Why people love baseball, and I'm amazed. Like, and this through your career, like wherever you go, that people love baseball, and it's every day. It brings us together. And I'm just amazed at like the kids that I had in Oakland, and now the kids I'm talking to now. And I've probably talked to over 20 or 30 guys already that want to come play for us, and they're excited. I had this one kid say, like, I just want to play as long as I can because I love the game, and if I could just get with an affiliation, and one day when I have a family and a kid, maybe a little boy, I could tell him that I wore this uniform or I wore that. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's great. Yeah, no, you know what? I think you're going to do a great job, and I'm going to keep track and see how you guys are doing.
I tell people we're going to make mistakes, and I'm going to make mistakes. And the funny thing, we only have 3 coaches, so I'll be coaching third base, and Alex, our pitching coach, will be in there, and Gary will be on the bench coach and work with the hitters. And I've started to think back and draw off some of the best guys I played for, and the best guy I ever saw at third base was Tim Flannery. The way he approached the game. One of my favorite all-time coaches ever was Robbie Thompson when those early years with the Giants in 2000, coaching first base.
Yeah.
So I've been thinking about signs we're going to use, and I know I'm going to mess it up and I'm going to put the wrong. It's like, do we start the runner 3-1? Do we start him? Do we hold him? Do things like that? So it's gonna be fun. And Tim Flannery always told me, he's like, the closest you can get to being a player again is coaching third base in a baseball game, because you're making decisions. So I always remember that Flan said that. So it'll be fun.
That's great. If any of you guys got any comments or questions for JT, throw them in the comments section. So you're a very popular San Francisco Giant former player, but you are not the new manager that everybody is most curious about. Sorry, JT, you're not. It's Tony Vitello. So what do you think? I talked to Jeremy Affelt and FP on my show about it, and I'm curious about how you guys feel about not Vitello in general. I think he's very sharp, and I think he's going to be fine. But just the fact that the Giants did this, stepped out of the box, stepped out of the norm, and named this guy the manager. What were your thoughts when you saw that?
So I was surprised. Number one, I thought it was a big swing. I go back to my college days, and I had a great coach at Arizona, a guy named Jerry Kindle that played in the big leagues. And if you talk to him, he'd be like, "Yeah, I was an average player, I was a bench player, snuck out 5-6 years." He was great for the college game, and I know about Tony, and you've seen all the things. I'm a big fan of college baseball. I reach out to the Arizona Chip Hale. You knew Chip when he was with the A's.
Oh yeah,
Chip's great guy. So I thought it was a big swing, but you know what? Let time let it tell its story, right? And I think Buster wanted to make a splash, make an impression. I think the organization probably wants to, get him in the fold, and they all want to get on the same page. Because you hear about it a lot nowadays. It's like, we don't want the old retread guy, this and that. So I tip my cap to him for taking a shot. I do think that he's going to be under the microscope really hard. And I think the fans in San Francisco, I know them. I think anything less than a playoff spot, I think the fans might be a little disappointed. So there's a few things that can happen. You can win, not make the playoffs. I think the fans won't be happy. The goal of spring training is always to win the division and get to the playoffs. If they finish 500 again, the fans won't be happy. If they finish below, the fans won't be happy. I think the one thing they have to do is make the playoffs. And he, I think he's got a lot of energy. I think he's a smart guy. I know he's from the St. Louis area where my dad lived for a long time. My sister still lives out there. I know exactly. He went to DeSmet High School where Billy Miller, our old friend, went to school.
That's a concern, though. The fact that he's tight with Billy, that's a little bit of a concern.
Yeah, and I read a story that Billy lived with his family when he coached with the St. Louis Cardinals. So,
no, we're joking. Who doesn't love Billy Miller, right?
We love Billy. He's the best teammate, one of the best of all time. There's no doubt that Tony's going to be prepared. He's going to, and I think the players are going to. Players at that level, I don't care how long you played, like you're gonna give the manager and the coaching staff a chance. You're gonna give him a shot, and I think he's smart enough to realize that, I've got Devers and Chapman and Adames, and these guys are making a lot of money, and they're proven veterans, and he might treat them a little bit different than the young guys. And I think the young guys that come in, like we saw Drew Gilbert, who played for him in college, and some other guys, the first round pick last year is from Tennessee. So I think. And I have kids that are in their 20s, and baseball needs a little kick and interjection of some enthusiasm and some.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
And
you're starting to see the younger kids come back to baseball a little bit, which is awesome, right?
Because they love you talk to that Gen Z group, they love the NFL, they love the NBA. Why? Because it's fun, it's entertaining, and trust me, I have kids and they're like, baseball's boring. It's boring. But now it's starting to come back, right? Letting guys wear the cleats they want, wear the batting gloves. And the playoffs this last year were great. The World Series was great. So it's coming back. And that's good to see. And I think one thing the Giants always do is that they hold the fans, especially here in the Bay Area, I've been here long enough now, they hold the team to a high standard, and they're not happy. Yeah. They're not happy with not making the playoffs. And it's been a few years, but let's wait and see. Let's give the guy a chance. Let him do his thing, and we'll see what happens. I do think the guys are going to play hard for him, and I think the key with that is just the relationship with the players. It's a little different than college, when to give a guy a day off, when to sit in, when to but I always go back to like Dusty and Boch. It's that running that bullpen, and that's the thing I'm going to do in Modesto with my pitching coach. That's the whole key to baseball, man.
Yeah.
Is running your bullpen and knowing when to bring those guys in. So
JT, what would you, if you were on the Giants, veteran player maybe, or not even a veteran player, but you get to spring training first day, what are you watching for? Because the veteran guys, even though many of them, when spring training starts, they will have met with Vitello and they've probably spent time with them. They've talked to them. But I know ball players, they're going to be watching this guy a little bit because really, who knows, right? What would you be watching for first week of spring training?
So I think I would come in the first day in Scottsdale, and I would go right into his office and just sit down, and he obviously is going to know the veterans, but just sit and just talk to him and welcome him and just say, relax. We're all on the same side. We're pulling from the same rope, and make him feel comfortable. But you're right. The veteran guys are going to watch. And the thing in spring training and how a season goes is just the continuity and how it's run. You like a manager that's pretty solid and doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. Goes around and talks to guys on a daily basis, and then once the game started, spring training, just and spring training's hard, right? You're playing a bunch of guys, you don't really know how to manage it. But I'm always big on body language and watching a guy's demeanor, and I think that I think it's going to be okay. I mean, it's like I said earlier, it's a out of the box decision, but he'll be. The veteran guys they'll be watching him because it's never been done before. He's a college guy that's never coached at this level, never coached in pro ball. So they'll be watching, but I think one of the things that I'm going to try and do is, and people have asked me, different characteristics or assets you have. And I think the one thing that all great managers I've had, they're all good listeners. Yeah. And in any job in life, in any walk of life, if you're a good listener and you don't think you're better than everybody, and you listen to people, and you can take in whatever you want, and then you can decipher it and let stuff go and in one ear and out the other. But be a good listener and a good communicator, and then just be attention to detail is huge. And veteran guys like that. They like attention to detail. It's I think it's one of my strong suits, and you have your I's dotted and your T's crossed, and so he's going to be under the microscope, and he knows it, but
he knows it.
Yeah, his personality will come out, and I think he's going to be fine. I think he's going to do a good job. I talked to Chip Hale at Arizona, and I'm friends also with I play with Andy Stankiewicz with the Yankees, who's now the head coach of USC. Yeah, and I reached out to them about potential players, and I said, "What do you think about the Giants hire?" And they both said they like him, and he might just do okay. Like he might just be and do a good job.
Yeah. I was thinking about this too a lot with since they hired him, and you said, you follow college baseball. You're a big fan of college baseball. I mean, you watch a college baseball game now, a good one, right? Or maybe a college World Series game. It's pretty good baseball. I mean, it's probably high A, maybe even double A. I mean, it's good baseball. So my question to you is, has the college game gotten closer to the professional game, and could that help him? Now, I understand you still have the bullpen, which is, that's a big deal, like you had mentioned, but it just seems like college baseball has gotten closer to professional baseball. Would you agree with that?
I do. I think you're seeing it with, in my view, it's the pitching, like the kids in college. I mean, these guys nowadays, like the velocity is there, and they can throw, aluminum bats versus wood bats, 60 games versus 160. In college, you're playing, maybe some cupcake games in the middle of the week. On the weekends, you're playing a conference. So, but every game in the big leagues every night, Glenn, somebody can beat somebody on a given night. You're going against that pitcher every night. I don't care what position you're in standings. So I think that's the biggest thing is the long haul, and over the course of with spring training, 7 months, as opposed to college is a 3-month season. The wood bat, the aluminum bat, but I do think that the pitching. We're seeing a lot of guys, and the pitchers are getting rushed to the big leagues quicker these days. I mean, look at Paul Skeens. He's you can't hide that guy, and I think pitchers they're coming along quicker, and I think it's good for the game. But yeah, if I came from a great college program at Arizona. When I got into the minor leagues, short season, single A, double A, I felt like I was ahead of other guys just as far as knowing how to play the game, knowing. And I had managers tell me, you play your game on defense, you put the ball in play, hit some doubles, driving some runs, and you're gonna climb the ladder. So I think that's one of the parts of the game. And I saw it last year in the minor leagues. Is when I came up, we had a lot of ex-big leaguers coaching in the minor leagues because guys didn't make as much money back then, and so they needed jobs or they got jobs. Nowadays, there's not a lot of big league guys coaching in the minor leagues. Big contracts, they go off, retire, and I think the kids need it. I think that's one of the reasons I took this job with Modesto as well. Is like kids want to ask you, what's it like to play in a World Series? What's it like to? And I've had every kid like, what's it like to struggle? Did you have? Some kid asked me, he's like, did you ever struggle? And I'm like, yeah, every day I struggle. They go for in a 1 for 20, and the game is so mental now, but we can pass that on to these kids. And I just wish there was more big league guys going down to the minor leagues and working with these kids because they love it. When I was in Sacramento last year, just sitting in the dugout with Wizenhunt and Birdsong and some of these pitchers, and I was calling pitches, and they looked at me and they're like, how do you know what pitch is coming? I'm like, guys, it's not that hard. Like up and away, down and hard in, down and away, this and that. So that's what makes the game great. And I told the pitchers, I'm like, you talk to the hitters, you talk to the pitchers. How would you get me out? How would you throw me? Things like that. So I think the game's coming back around. That's the reason I love the Blue Jays last year, right? They were about contact, putting the ball in play.
Yep.
Putting in Don Mattingly was their bench coach. He talked about driving the ball, and so it's coming back around. It's coming.
Good. I like it. JT, we got great viewers on the show. They've been loyal, and so I like to check in with them on some of their comments.
Sure.
And, so stay with me here. Bake That Dough, who's one of our loyal watchers, he gives a super chat. He's actually paying to ask you this question. JT, where can I purchase a lid? I love the logo. So he likes the logo of the Roadsters.
Well, it hasn't been released yet, but you'll be able to get it online. And that's one of the cool things about the minor leagues. It's all about the merchandise and the merch.
Yeah.
We're trying to come up with some good stuff. So it's going to be posted on our website soon. You'll be able to get it. I see your comment about the Ram sweater. My dad gave us this is the St. Louis one, so I had to throw it on for tonight. And so good. I know I'm a one-off here. I'm in the Bay Area. I'm a Rams fan because of my dad. But two teams having a good year. But the roaster stuff is going to be available soon. So we got some great unis. I should send you pictures after the show, Glenn. You can put it on.
Yeah, that's great
on your site.
Yeah, that's cool. And I mean, yeah, you know what, folks, and let's give JT some credit. He is sporting the Rams jersey, but if you want to do a little research, look up JT's dad, Jack Snow. I faintly remember him as a kid. Look at him up. He was awesome. Wide receiver for the Rams at Notre Dame. And JT and I have talked about this a lot because, I love the NFL. I know JT does, but look him up. And unfortunately, Jack's not with us anymore, but he was awesome. I mean, and you showed me look at Jack Snow is what I'm saying, and you'll find out just how good JT's dad was.
It's funny, Glenn. I have a wall here in my office, and I got a bunch of my dad's jersey and his whole career on this plaque right here. And so at the bottom, my dad played 11 years, had like 6,000 yards receiving, 50 touchdowns. So at the bottom it says future Hall of Famer. And then my dad retired in 76. And then in the 80s, that's when like the run and shoot came in. And
Yeah.
all his numbers got blown out of the water. And he's not a Hall of Famer, but yeah, he was pretty good.
He was good. Yeah. All right. Bake That Dough has another question for you, and he leaves off the Rams thing, but this is a good one. Forever Giant JT Snow, what's it like to be the only 6-time consecutive Gold Glove winner, remembered by a play made without a glove? You deserve a 7th. Good question.
The play. Oh yeah, is that the Darren Baker?
Gotta be.
Yeah, it's got to be. That I have another picture in my office that right behind me. That that was something that was never seen before, and will never be seen again because they. And so I tell people really quick backstory to that is Darren was 3 years old. His favorite player was Kenny Lofton on the team, and so Kenny Lofton's the one that hit the ball, and I'm tagging from third. There's one out. David Bell is on at second. He's halfway. And so I come in and I see Darren shoot out from the dugout to go get the bat. David comes in behind me. Benjamin Molina is actually catching for the Angels, future Giant. And before the play, the head bat boy, Joey Tolucci, his dad's still working. He was our head, and he told Darren, "You cannot go out and get the bat. This is a big play in the game. 2 guys on, close game." And so when the ball was hit, Darren ran right under Joey and went to go get the bat. And so I saw it developing right in front of me. Grabbed him, stepped on the plate, kicked the bat out of the way. David slides the ball. And nobody saw it. Nobody saw it happen except me and Benji and the old umpire Mike Riley was on the plate. And I have a picture in my office right here. And the people in the front row, it's taken from like the first base dugout angle. And you see Peter McGowan and Larry Baird. They're all looking at the outfield. And I'm sitting there grabbing Darren by the jersey. So
you remember that year, and there was it was probably maybe a 2-year period where there was kids in the dugout that were bad boys that it was cool, but they were probably too young to be in there.
Yeah.
Remember Ellis Burks' son?
Yeah.
And his son, and remember Porky Lopez' little son was in there.
Yeah.
There was more. I can't even remember all, but there was 4 or 5 really small boys that were players' kids or coaches' kids, and I remember thinking, "Oh man, these kids are really small."
And Dusty loved that. So we used to call it romper room. If you remember back in the day, romper room was like the kids saying on TV. So it was romper room. And my son Shane was always like, "Dad, I want to come." I'm like, "No, you're going to the family room. You got to go in the kids' room. I'm working." And I remember, Ellis's kid, and I remember his kid one day after the game was like, "Dad, why do the players always say such bad words, and why do they allow the cuss words?" And it was a great environment, and Dusty like fostered that, and it was all cool. It was a pretty good time for kids to see what their dads did.
Yeah, I just remember, and it was fun. It was cute. They were all super cute kids, with their dad's uniforms on.
Yeah.
But it's almost like something weird was bound to happen at some point, and it just happened to happen in a World Series. But
exactly.
How about this? Mark Antna says JT Snow. He's got one of the coolest names in baseball. It is kind of a cool name.
I owe that to my grandmother because I'm Jack Thomas Jr. and my grandmother, my mom's mom, started calling me little JT when I was a kid because. And I will tell you, being a junior is hard for the fact of like legal documents and stuff. Like when you go to, and even to this day, my dad passed, but I still have to put junior on stuff. And then I had a son, and I'm like, no way he's being the third because that was just so. My son Shane is named after my mom. That was my mom's maiden name. She was Mary Shane, so we named him Shane Snow. But that's
a good name too.
Yeah,
Shane Snow. That's a strong name.
Shane Absolutely. Snow. So JT is Jack Thomas.
All right, here's another one. I live down the street from John Thurman Field, and I can't tell you how excited I am after having JT on. Let's go Roadster. So there you go. A little support from Modesto, which is great.
Yeah, I love it, and we're in the process of doing some like really cool things. with the stadium. I talked to the owner and I said, hey, when we win a game that night, I said we should fly a checkered flag, right? Like, so that means you won the race.
Yeah.
And so then I was talking to FP this morning. I told him I was coming on the show, and he made a great point. He's like, you fly a green flag when you're at home, like during the day, to let people know there's a game tonight.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Being at Wrigley Field, when they win, they put the big W. When I was with the Angels, the A in the parking lot, they light the halo when they win to people driving by. The Sacramento Kings do the purple, the light thing in the sky.
Yeah.
I think little things like that are cool. So we're working on it. I hope our friend that lives down the street, like, when you see that green flag, there's a game tonight. Come buy a ticket, watch a game, and then we win. I've also brought up, when we win, I want the players to take a victory lap around the field, maybe high five the fans. Just little things like that to make minor league baseball fun. So, yeah.
Or make it a little bit different than big league baseball, right?
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Hey, JT, I'm going to let you go.
Okay.
Thanks for joining me. I'd love to have you on again, maybe when your season gets a little bit closer to getting rolling, just to see how you're doing, see how your roster's coming together. But thanks for coming on. I think what you're doing is super cool. And, I wish you a lot of luck. You and I have been friends for a long time, and I'm pulling for you. So good luck in Modesto with the Roadsters.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, Glenn. And we'll see where it goes. I'll go back to the old Dusty quote. You're gonna win a third of the games. You're gonna lose a third. It's those third of the games in the middle. How do we win those?
That's right. Don't screw those up.
Don't screw them up.
You're gonna be great. Thanks, JT. I appreciate it.
You got it. Thanks, Glenn.
All right, JT Snow has been our guest again. Such a good dude, and really, Giants fans who remember him also remember that. I mean, he was one of the most popular players on the Giants at a time when they had Barry Bonds and Jeff Kent. The fans always loved JT because he played hard and he was a very, very good player. So, again, thank you to JT, and we wish him the best of luck with the Modesto Roadsters of the Pioneer League. He will be their manager. So I hope you enjoyed tonight's show, a little something different. We're going to take a break for Thanksgiving. We'll be back next week as we are closing in on the winter meetings. The winter meetings are now just less than 2 weeks away. So next week, we'll start heating up a little bit on what's going on in baseball as far as the hot stove trades. If the Giants done anything yet. And then when the winter meetings start on, I believe it's December 8th, we will have a show every night that the winter meetings are going on. So looking forward to that as we get close to December, and we'll get the hot stove heated up big time here on the Glen Kuiper Show. So thanks for joining me tonight and venturing into the world of amateur baseball and, well, I guess in this case, professional baseball, but the Pioneer League, a little something different. If you get a chance, go see the Modesto Roadsters, or a little closer to home, go see the Oakland Ballers. So thanks for JT for joining us. Check out the YouTube channel. We're pumping out videos big time. We're pumping out shorts. All the live shows are there. They stay there. So everything is going good on the channel. Thanks for joining us tonight, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next week with another edition of the Glen Kuiper Show. Have a good one, everybody.